What exactly is V-Rising? Before we get started, I'd like to talk about a new sponsor on the channel that I covered last week, eneba.com. This is a marketplace you can find deals and discounts on any and all titles across gaming. Recently I purchased a DLC from there for Crusader Kings 3, and it's been such a blast recreating the Empire Britannia like I was able to do at the very end of my first playthrough back in 2020. This week they're having new sales all across the website, including some on newer titles such as Elden Ring, which I haven't had a chance to jump into yet, Destiny 2, the Witch Queen DLC if you're interested, and so many more. Special thanks to eneba.com for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to check out my affiliate links in the description below if you're interested in checking it out. Now back to the video. V-Rising is an upcoming online vampire survival sandbox being developed by Stunlock Studios that features a gothic open world to survive and build in. This game is being built around featuring both multiplayer and single-player experiences, with servers featuring anywhere from 40 to 80 players according to a recent question I was able to ask the developers, and it's not quite certain yet, but it seems like we will be able to create private servers for just solo player experiences. The camera view is isometric, with this game being designed on the Unity engine, and Unity has always been one of my top favorite engines. I get nostalgic every time I get a pop-up window that lets me change my resolution and game settings beforehand. So the game's developer Stunlock Studios is also the dev team behind games like Battlerite and Bloodline Champions. Battlerite is a free-to-play MOBA that released on Steam with very positive reviews, and although the combat may seem at first glance very similar to Battlerite, they described it as comparing apples to oranges. In V-Rising, you get to tailor your abilities between different crafted weapons and skill kits, as opposed to Battlerite that has predefined spells and abilities that you can only customize slightly. With this being a vampire game, they went the extra mile by ensuring that you will need to move strategically between shadows to avoid sunlight when it's daytime. This is something I'm really looking forward to experiencing in the survival genre, because that sounds exactly like the type of dynamic experience you need to start setting yourself apart from other games. With this being a vampire game, you will also be capable of drinking blood. You can raid bandit camps, pillage settlements, although you want to watch out for scouts, wander into territories of supernatural beasts, come across vampire hunters and werewolves, and maybe even more powerful enemies like warlocks that you can also drink the blood from. Now there are different types of blood that can give you various buffs like physical damage, movement, magic damage, and gathering skill, but the quality and perks of blood does change from human to human. Of course, there's going to be a day and night cycle like we mentioned before. You're going to have to make sure that you build yourself a castle and convert humans into servants if you want to survive. You can convert human mages, warriors, and archers, and each person will need their own coffin because you're going to be turning them into vampires. They also can act as thralls like from Conan Exiles or Myth the Vampires. You can put them on your workbenches, have them defend your castle, things like that. There are a total of 50 different castle ruins per server, and these can be ran by clans to act as a sort of guild base. Each clan will be capped out at 4 players initially, which probably won't seem like much, but it's possible that there might be an alliance system that they're planning to design, but I couldn't find a sure answer on that. For the PvP system, you will need to know that it's active at all times, and full loot PvP will be a thing. As far as offline raiding goes, they're still trying to find the correct balance for that, but the upcoming closed beta will probably give them the data they need to decide. I have heard of mechanics you can use to ensure your base can't be raided while offline, but we'll have to get in there to know for sure. Player versus environment wise, it'll be very similar to top-down ARPGs, but a mixture between that and survival sandboxes. A lot of our progression will be tied around our castles by upgrading them, which lets us craft higher tier gear and technologies, kill and absorb the power of different things in the world, customize our characters through ability and spell kit systems, and even one day try our hand at becoming the dominant vampire on the server with the title of Dracula. This mechanic in particular seems very similar to the Emperor system of ESO, especially because you'll be getting bigger bonuses and power gains by becoming Dracula. For the control scheme, it'll be WASD similar to Battlerite. We will see weapon swapping and skill shots especially being a big part of the combat system, and one thing I really like as far as the dynamics go is that apparently we will see different faction interactions in this game, like farmers fighting against bandits, animals fighting against farmers, of course there's also vampire hunters and werewolves, etc. Weapons are going to play a big part in the abilities we get access to, and so far I've heard confirmation of the swords, shields, axes, spears, crossbows, maces, and a scythe called the Iron Reaper. But also it might be possible to pick up enemy weapons, which will open us up to even more choices. And there seems to be a great deal of magic being showcased throughout the trailer, so we'll also have that to look forward to. Mounts are going to be a pretty important part of this game too, because not only will they be valuable and of great help to you, but they can also be stolen or killed by other vampires, so you have to use them wisely. The last thing I'd like to say for now is that towards the end of March, they're planning to open up the closed beta officially, and I believe it'll go all the way up to early access release. Make sure to sign up on playvrising.com to have a chance of getting in, and we'll be covering more of these systems over the next few videos leading up to it. In the meantime, have a wonderful night or day as always, don't forget to check out ENEBA, and farewell.